Hey everybody out there on YouTube, I just wanted to show you my new Stihl MSA 70C battery chainsaw. This is my first battery chainsaw. Really curious how it's going to work out. I have four saws currently, a Stihl 660 Magnum, a Shindawa 757 and a Shindawa 488, and then a Stihl 029 Farm Boss. So here's the reason why I bought it. Decided to drop 8 gigundous trees in my yard. I mean, this is the stump. It's kind of hard to tell exactly how big these trees are from the video, but this is, I know you don't want to sit here and look at this stuff, so I'm walking fast. But look at all the limbing that I've got to do. This is a lot. That's some of the logs they got out, and there's no reference point how big those are, but like that bottom log in the middle is practically as wide as my Kia Stinger. Some insane wood. So going to try out the battery saw. The reason I bought it is because I wake up real early, like 5 a.m. And so basically as soon as daylight's coming, I would like to be able to start cutting, but I don't want to wake up my neighbors. So I end up having to wait until, 8 o'clock, maybe even 9. So what ends up happening is it gets hot out by then. We're already in the 80s. And so I miss that opportunity to cut the wood in the early morning. So the other reason is that when you're having to try to climb around in that stuff, real easy to trip, get stuck, you can't see what you're stepping on. And so a lighter saw will make it easier. Now my Shindawa 488 only weighs 10 pounds minus the blade. So it's not terrible, but I just thought because of the morning issue and then having to climb around in this, that battery saw is what I wanted to try out. And I didn't want to get the Pro version because I don't know how well this is going to work out for me. And in all honesty, once this job is done, I won't be using the saw daily. So the Pro model was twice as much money. And so I just didn't want to spend that much at this time. So we're going to do some cutting and I'll keep you updated. I'm going to try to add some footage in this video to let you see how it works. Okay, so about to go out and do a battery test on my new Stihl MSA 70C. I've charged it up. I have used it. I used it for about 15 minutes earlier today. It's the first time I've ever used it. It's brand new. So this will be the second time, and it's today. So I charged up the battery fully. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to work on some of these trees right here. No way, obviously, I'll get done through all that. That's several days of work there for one person. But my goal is to get that tree cut up right there. So I'm going to start working on that, and I may very well get through that and then continue on. But we'll just see how long the battery lasts. So this is not a tree, guys. This is a limb. Oh, for these monster trees that I cut down. I take that back. The almost dropped for me, and now I'm cutting up. But this is a limb, and it's 11 inches. So you can see in about 10 minutes, I've completely delimbed it. Now, I left it kind of like that. I would clean that up with the tractor. I'm not cutting up the real tiny stuff. You know, I'm probably starting with, you know, stuff. The smallest I'm going is probably a little bit smaller than this. So let me see if I can, I might have to stop the recording to measure this. So, you know, the smallest I'm going down is like about 1.5. The rest I'm just gonna either rent a chipper, throw it in there, or drag it off in the woods, and then I can cut it up later for kindling wood. And then, you know, I'm going up to, for the purpose of using this saw, I'm going up to, well, let's see, what do we have about here? Let me measure again. So, you know, we're approaching 5 inches. So that's all the bigger I want to use this saw for. You know, that's plenty big enough. Like I said, I have a Shindawa 488, a 757. I got a Stihl Farm Boss or 29 Super, and I got a 660 Magnum. So that's what I'm going to pull out for the big stuff. But the purpose of that battery saw, I think I said earlier, not wake the neighbors when I'm cutting out here at 6 a.m. in the morning, and trying to wrestle around, you know, and that kind of stuff. That does not get fun. Very easy to trip just walking, let alone carrying a chainsaw. So, you know, it could be dangerous. It could be tiresome. And that's the purpose of that battery saw. I was leery of it, but I tell you, they've obviously come quite a ways with batteries. I'm at about 15 minutes of cut time on it, and let me verify, but I think that thing is still at full power. So yeah, I mean, we got full power, and I've been cutting for 15 minutes. You know, basically anything from a little over 1 inch and up to almost 5 inches. So that's pretty impressive, really. So I'm going to continue on. It is god-awful hot. It rained. I thought it would cool it down, but all it did is make it more muggy. I'm dying. I'm soaking wet. So I'm going to hang it up for now, continue on. I'll let you guys know if I can run this battery out or if I get wore out first. So we're approaching almost a half hour of use, and I'm only one board down. Wow. I tell you, as hot and muggy as it is, this saw is probably going to outlast me tonight. So I've already delimbed all that, So I can't decide if I'm going to go delimb that or if I'm going to grab the bigger saws and start to work on them. All right, well, that battery is honestly quite impressive. At this point, I think anybody that's worried about, you know, unless you're an all-day person cutting all day, you know, you got a business, you own a tree company, but still, even then, I mean, for the purpose of these saws, you know, these things aren't made to run all day. Everybody knows that. But so far, for my purpose of cutting limbs, I'm actually cutting up to a little bit bigger than what I, you know, really planned on. I'm hitting up to 5 inch and stuff. And what I just cut, a lot of it was probably 2+ inch. So these aren't little tiny limbs that I'm cutting down. So honestly, this saw is impressive so far. What's up, Ruby? Hello, buddy. All right, so as you can see, it's dark. I can no longer cut. And testing out the battery on the MSA 70C. People, this thing is honestly surprisingly amazing. So it's about ready to die. So am I. And let's see, I've been at it. I have, well, I've been out here using it for about an hour and a half. That's not pure cutting nonstop. But, you know, you figure out an hour and a half, probably an hour 15, an hour 10 or so, you know, other than me moving that brush around, I was cutting. So even if this thing went an hour and it still got juice left, I mean, I might squeeze another 15, 20 minutes out of it. I don't know. At some point, you know, I'll be able to try it from fresh charged to completely dead when I don't get stopped by the darkness. But if you're wondering, you know, if it's time to buy a battery saw and how long they'll last, I haven't seen any reviews of this out on YouTube. I haven't been paying attention, honestly. So this thing must be so new. And the other reason that I think it's extremely new is it's not even on Stihl's website yet. But this is a residential model. Normally I go pro, but I figured first battery saw, I'm not going to spend $700 and end up being disappointed. So I went half of that. It came with the battery. And I'll tell you that this was money well spent. I can cut early in the morning. You're not worried about having, you know, bother the neighbors. And I can cut, you know, up till 9 o'clock at night, not disturbing anybody. It cuts really fast. My Shindawa 488 is normally what I limb with, and this thing is just as fast. I cut limbs probably, I'd say, up to about 7 inches. And this wood's a little bit softer. It's still considered a hardwood. Forgive me, at the moment I believe it's locust, but this thing just cut right through it. It was very impressive. So my opinion, if you're looking for a battery saw, a good saw, this is a very good saw. I am very, very happy with it. One thing I do want to check though, I got to look up in the manual, I haven't had a chance yet, is to make sure that this is weatherproof. Maybe somebody out there will know and can verify that, but I'm gonna look it up in the manual. All right, hey, have a good evening, everybody. So this is one of the reasons I bought this electric saw. My trusty little Stihl MSA 70C. Been using it for a week now, and it has been working very good. A lot of battery life. I'm telling you guys, it's something you're really not gonna have to worry about like the old days. So anyways, as you can see, it's very early morning. Neighbors are obviously all still sleeping, but as soon as I finish my coffee, I'm gonna start cutting wood, and I'm not gonna have to worry about waking up the neighbors. Okay, so out here about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm finally done. All the way around the house. I'm not gonna walk all the way around and show you, but all of that is gone. You'll see in the video how much was there. I think I've got about over 100 hours cutting up all of that wood. It was not fun. It's probably the hottest week and a half in weather that we have had in a long time. It was reaching up to 95 degrees, 100% humidity. It was terrible. My shirts were just soaking wet. Unfortunately, I didn't lose any weight, but I got all this done. So my recommendations, you know, on this Stihl is definitely worth the money. This MSA 70C, strongly recommended. I'm just very surprised, impressed, and happy with the battery life. Going through all of those limbs, you know, that's only part of the firewood. There's more going the other way, and then I got more stacked in the woods. But the small stuff, all the branches and everything, there's tons of branches that I have pushed into the woods. Some of it you can see, you know, along through here, but a lot of it is hidden. There's a tremendous amount of branches that I had cut with this. This saw is definitely a recommended buy. If you're thinking about jumping to electric, I definitely recommend it. I'm actually going to consider buying the larger Stihl. I have an 029 Farm Boss. I love it. I've had it since 1997. It works excellent. And I have Shindawa 488, a little bit smaller. Then I got a big 757 Shindawa, just a beast. And then the Ultra Beast, my 660 Magnum still. But for limbing and getting into the stuff that I just did, you know, small wood, and this thing, you know, it got right through, you know, 7 inches or so. It'll cut through it. I'm sure it'll take bigger stuff, but that's not what I bought it for. That's not what I'm going to use it for. But if you had to, you know, if you were just like a homeowner that lived in the city and you needed something to, you know, cut up a tree that had fallen, as long as that tree is not too big, you probably wouldn't be able to tackle anything bigger than, I'm guessing maybe like 10 or 12. Maybe I'll do a video sometime, just see how big this thing will cut. But 2 things that I definitely need to caution you on. One of them, you cannot use this saw in the rain. You're not supposed to get it wet. The instruction manual states that there is a, you know, risk of getting shocked if you do that. So I don't know if the more expensive version of this is weather sealed. I would hope paying twice as much money it would be, but don't use this model if it is raining. The other thing that you have to remember is that this battery lasts quite a while, and you want to constantly be checking your bar chain oil level, because sometimes that battery seems like it'll outlast the oil. So you got to be very cognizant of, as you're using it, you know, I would be checking it probably, you know, halfway through the battery at least. Just make sure that you always have oil for that chain. But that's it. I'm going to try and put this video together. It didn't go as easy as I had hoped, working every day and then coming home and doing this until dark and then putting 20 hours in on the weekend. Literally, it has it's kicked my butt. I'm tired, but I'm done, so I'm really happy about that. Okay, I hope this video helps you guys. I know that it's always confusing what chainsaws to buy out there. There's so many choices, but I am very happy with this Stihl MSA 70C. All right, take care, everybody.